What is up, beautiful people? I'm Avery Woodley. Welcome to my channel, same team where we win together or lose apart. This is where we have uncomfortable conversations that will ultimately make us better than we were the day before. And it's a place where women and men can come together. I am trying to bridge that gap and help us realize that we are not in competition, but we are in collaboration. We are on the same team. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. To those of you that are returning and are already my teammates, thank you for your continued love and support. All right. So let's just get into it. What I want to do is show a clip, which I'll do in a few minutes. Okay. But I am talking about the lies that feminists have told women for years that are really making most of us absolutely miserable, right? And there are a ton of them, and I can't cover all of them. And I know that we talk about these topics a lot, but guess what? As long as the messages are being put out there, as long as the lies are continuing to be told, I am going to speak on it because so many people are believing it. I am constantly bombarded with these images, whether it's on TikTok, Instagram, any type of, various social media platforms, pop culture. They are putting these messages out there and women are believing them. And the reason women are believing them is because they are being told to us mainly by other women. So it's like we have to take their word as bond. It's like, oh, obviously a woman wouldn't give me advice that would hurt me. A woman wouldn't give me advice that would hold me down, that would make my load heavy, right? So obviously I'm going to believe her. I'm going to believe women. I'm going to believe their messaging because they want what's best for me. They are empowering me. They are supporting me. They are part of the sisterhood. The sisterhood, a lot of them are lying to us, okay? So what I've done was, like I said, I got, one clip, right? I had a few, I don't know what was going on. They weren't working, but the main clip is what I wanted to show. Is going through a few points, and then I'm going to completely break it down. So I guess I'll show that first, then we'll get into the lies. No, you know what? We'll get into the two main lies. Obvious, the first one, which you guys already know. What? We do not need men. Women, you do not need men. You do not need a man at all, right? The second one, obviously, your career will fulfill you. You don't need a loving relationship. You don't need to be married. You don't need children. You don't need anything but your career. And I'm going to sneak another one in there. A tribe of like-minded women who are on the same path as you. So all you need is yourself and your career and other women who are only worried about themselves and their careers, and you will be fine. You will have a completely full and healthy and meaningful life, and you will not die alone. All right. So I am going to go ahead and share this clip. I'm going to add it. And don't be worried if you can't see it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to break all of these down. Okay. So with that, I know you guys have probably seen that type of messaging or, whatever a lot, right? Whether it's in a meme, a quote, a video, somebody's pointing to the screen, independent woman, all of this kind of stuff. We see it a lot, but this is one that had things listed. I think it was 8 different things. Like I said, don't worry about if you couldn't see it because I'm going to break them down. And it was actually titled How to Be an Independent Woman. Okay. And then they listed their things, and let's just get into it. The first one was obviously make decisions alone. Now, are there decisions that we need to make in life on our own? 100%. You cannot always go to somebody else to help you make decisions, but we all know everyone needs advice. YouTube would not exist if people didn't need advice. You know what I'm saying? Everyone needs advice, but that's not what they're telling, they're not pushing that message. What they're saying with this is make decisions alone. Is what this really means is to do not let a man make any decisions for you. Be the ruler, the king, and the queen of your own life. And sorry, guys, look, I got my little notes, right? If you've watched any of my older videos, I have like really bad ADD and I talk fast. So I'll stumble over my words and I'll get off track. So I got to stay focused. Okay. So like I said, make decisions alone. What they're meaning right here is Do not let a man make any decisions for you at all. Be the king, the ruler, the queen of your own life. The second one. Oh, and with that, it also promotes isolation, right? If you don't seek advice from anybody else, if you don't seek help from anybody else, and obviously when it comes to making decisions, somebody else who is not as emotionally attached to the choice that you need to make or whatever can give you better insight, right? The second one, don't allow people to tell you how to live your life. Obviously, you get one life, okay? You shouldn't let other people just tell you, chime in, and then you end up living your life for them and not for yourself. We know that, but that's not what they're telling you right here. What they're really saying is don't allow men to tell you how to live your life, or possibly weak, needy women, okay? Do not allow men to tell you how to live your life, okay? The third one was be a role model for other women. Now, if you don't know what a role model is, which I know we all do, I'm just going to define it for this video's sake. Role model, a person looked to by others as an example to be imitated, right? Who doesn't want to be a role model? Who doesn't want to strive for certain things in life and have other people look up to them? I know that I do. No, am I perfect? By no means, but I do set myself up to where other people, girls and women and my children, whoever, friends can look to me and be like, you know what? You inspire me. But they're not really saying that. They're saying be a role model for other women, right? Now, what they're saying with this is make sure that you are teaching other women and young girls to think like you and to be just like you, because we can't have them thinking that they need somebody. We can't have them thinking that men are okay. We can't have them thinking anything that goes against our agenda and our messaging, right? We don't want them to really find out the truth. We want them to believe this, okay? To make them independent, strong women. And that actually brings me to the fourth one. Educate others and help them become stronger and independent. Educate others. They're not saying educate a whole bunch of other. Educate other young women and girls, like I just stated. This is pushing the message to be strong like a man, okay? Not weak like a woman. Suppress your feminine energy unless you are using it to manipulate a situation and using it to, to make some sort of gain. That's what they're saying by be stronger and independent. And along with this, okay, because we know men are strong, women are weak. The traits that are related to women, your energy and all that, your feminine, that's for weak women, damsel in distresses, right? When they're saying be independent, educate others on how to be independent. What they're saying is hustle so hard, you will never, ever need a man. Don't ever ask a man for help. Only be around other women who are just like you. Now, you may be able to ask them for help, but do not ask a man for help, okay? The goal is for us to continue to educate women and young girls to be stronger than they already are and to be more independent, all right? 5, never allow a man to play with you. You have to be smarter than him. No one really wants to be played with, right? But in life, it happens, okay? Nobody just gets up and says, oh, I want you to play with me. You know what I'm saying? I want you to, that sounds, but I want you to, I want you to play with my emotions and my feelings. We all need to have healthy boundaries. That's not what they're saying right here. What they are really saying is that all men play games. Absolutely. All men play games. They will play with your emotions, your time, and your life. They are here to take you out, and not out on a date, but they are here to literally take you out and to keep you down. Okay. Now, think of this as the art of war. That's how they want you to think of it. And you are out here to destroy men, okay? They are your arch enemy. You must outsmart men and you have to defeat them by any means necessary. Number 6, pay your own bills. Now, my dad told my sister and I growing up, and I've mentioned this in other videos before, hey, you should never be with a man who cannot do for you the way I have done for you, right? But if he leaves, your lights should stay on. I completely get what my father was saying. He set a standard, right? He set a standard on what we should look for in a man and how a man should provide and protect us and all that kind of stuff. But he was also saying you should be able to be self-sufficient, okay? So if a man decides to leave, your light shouldn't be turned off. I get that. Is that what they're saying right here by paying your own bills? No, that is not what they're saying. And I know I'm sounding very sarcastic, but it just goes with the video, right? The messaging here, do not, I repeat, do not by any means necessary take any type of money or financial support or any type of help or assistance from a man. Don't let him pay for anything. If you're out with the guy, you make sure you pay and you show him who's boss and you show him that you have your own money and you show him, because you don't show them enough, that you do not need them. If a man helps you in any way and pays for anything, right? Gives you any type of financial support, he could invest in your company, your brands, anything like that. That now means that he owns you, and we do not want to be owned by a man. 7, learn from your mistakes. Absolutely. We should all learn from our mistakes, admit and take ownership for the things that we have done wrong, and learn from them so we can evolve and become better. I agree. That happens through accountability. Sitting yourself down, my favorite thing. Take a seat and look in the mirror, right? Mirror, mirror on the wall. Is it me? Maybe it's me. Maybe it's Maybelline, right? That's not what they're saying. What they're saying here is that any decisions that you have made when it comes to a man that are mistakes, especially you need to don't do them again, okay? They're only talking about the mistakes that you have made when it comes to men. And if they do not align with the feminist messaging, okay? So if you have fallen in love with a guy, if you've moved in with a guy, if you've let a guy help you, if you've let a guy take care of you, protect you, provide for you in any way, and let's say it ended up not working out, right? That's normal. But even though we know it's normal. We know that it's normal to get in relationships and situations that don't work out. Sometimes they're only meant to last for a moment. Sometimes they're meant to teach you something. Sometimes it's just something to help pass the time. Not everything is a forever. But obviously, if you ended up not together or hurt in any way, that's the only time you need to correct yourself as a woman, is when you've made a mistake and it has something to do with the man and it didn't align with the feminist messaging and the message that you need to be independent, right? But if it's anything you really do, you're good because you're a woman, right? And we're actually we're above correction. We're basically like damn near perfect beings, right? Because we're a woman and the world is against us and men are against us. So hey, we don't need any correction unless it comes to a man, and then we need to correct our mistakes, right? And we need to learn from them. So we never, ever do it again. If you have one bad relationship with a guy, you know what? Now you know all men are bad. All men are evil. All men are no good. And all men are here to keep their foot on your necks and to keep us down. Number 8, invest in your time. Invest in your time and money. Invest in yourself. There's really no need to explain this. I'm sure we all get it by now, right? So you work, you grind, you keep your foot on the necks of men, you secure your bag, and you prove to men you are more successful and you are better off without them. And I know I'm looking at my notes because I wrote a lot of notes, okay? You don't have time for that weak dependent lifestyle that other women, I guess, do some women want it? I guess I do, the pick-me's, right? You don't have time for that, right? You don't have any time. You have no space for that. You have no space for relationships. You have no space for love. You have no space for marriage. Kids, maybe not, but it has to align with your time frame and when you're ready, right? When you have secured everything, when you're comfortable, when you have traveled, when you have done everything, and when you look and you're like, okay, now it fits within my timeline, and now I want to have a kid. But guess what? You don't need a man to have a kid because we don't need men. Just do it however you want to do it, and it's cool, right? All right. And also, you have to pour into yourself. and only yourself. You don't have time for anybody else. You don't have space for anybody else. Only you. Be selfish, be self-made, be self-sufficient. And my favorite line, walk like a man, talk like a man, and think like a man. Okay? So that is what I'm breaking down. They gave you those 8 things on how to be an independent woman. And they're eight lies. Okay. And I know you guys are probably, some of you guys may say, well, oh, but they didn't say all that. But yes, the messaging, I see these clips and stuff like this all the time. And that's what they are telling us. And we have to be very, very careful with the messaging we are putting out, because women and young girls and others are believing this, and they are taking it in, and they are trying to walk out their life based on these messages. And guess what? It is making them miserable. The other clip I was going to play, which would not work, was another clip from TikTok. And it was a lady, just kind of like walking on the elevator, but it was the audio. And she was saying that, I'm getting called an independent woman all the time. She was like, but actually, I'm tired. I am tired and wore out. There was another clip with a young girl saying being an independent woman is easy, but the hard part is that you are lonely. Yeah. But you don't see a lot of those. You see more of the messaging that I just went over in the video I just went over, and they dress it up and they put a fun beat to it. It's like, yes, I'm going to be an independent woman. I don't need anybody. Da, 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 da. But you end up being alone, and you're tired. And all I can say is that there are a lot of strong, independent women who are suffering in silence. And the reason they're suffering in silence is because who are they? You've done all these things to isolate yourself. The only people you're around are women who are just like you, and you dare not speak out to them, because guess what? Then you are out of the sisterhood. Then you can't sit with them any longer. And I've said that before. So you just suffer in silence. You grind, and then you're home and you're tired, you're in tears, you're miserable, you're lonely, you're unfulfilled, you're existing, you're not living. You have added unnecessary stress, right? Life is stressful enough. We've all been through enough, and life just has its regular ups and downs, but you're adding more on your shoulders than you are meant to. And somebody said, some people said this, the load is meant for the shoulders and not for hips. You are not able to fully be a woman and ever lead, walk, or rest in your femininity. You are moving throughout your life in your masculine. And a lot of women don't even know it. I will continue to say this. I will continue to say this, because as long as these messages are being put out there, a lot of women do not even know this. At one point, I didn't know. I just thought I was being a strong woman, right? Just go, 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 keep moving. I knew nothing about my feminine energy. What I thought was feminine was wearing skirts, cooking, cleaning, wearing makeup, and getting my hair done or whatever. I was like, okay, that makes me a woman. Absolutely not. Not at all. A lot of these women are unhappy, and as they're disconnected from their feminine energy, right, they become angry, bitter, rigid, guarded. It takes negative effects on their mental, emotional, and spiritual health. And guess what? Sometimes on them financially, because you're trying to do everything alone. Look at there are so many successful women. In another live, we talked about Beyonce, right? Look at Beyonce. Jay-Z helped take her to another level. He has taken her to another level. She was already talented, yes, but when she paired with him, here she is, okay? So imagine if he wasn't in her life. I don't know if she would be the Beyonce that she is today. So yes, financially, she would take a hit. So you just have to realize that it affects us in so many ways in every area of our life. And we are listening to these messages thinking like, yes, that's how I'm going to thrive. That is how I'm going to live my best life. Absolutely, no, you're not. Maybe for a moment, but in all truth and reality, no. You have more and more women today that are more unhappy, more depressed, anxiety, miserable, and everything, like just everything else. All right. Now, lonely, unfulfilled, right? Because when you go to sleep at night, when you go home, when you go to, when you're laying down, what you don't have anybody that's going to wrap their arms around you. You don't know how to lean in. You don't know how to tell somebody that you need them. You don't know how to ask for like affection and a hug and just the stuff that you need, not even as a woman, but as a human being. We all need each other in some way. There have been studies with pets and years ago with infants, which is a whole nother thing, where they didn't nurture them. They were not touched. They were being fed through, like tubes and gloves. They didn't have that human interaction. And they died, they perished, because we were not created to be that way. And I just want to tell you, you owe it to yourself to be a woman. You have to allow yourself to be a woman. Make room in your life to be a woman. Make room in your life to sit in that. Make room in your life to understand that it is okay, because what you are doing and the way many of us are operating is going against nature. And we cannot become, I don't care what they say, you will not become your highest self. You will not be able to fully thrive in all areas of your life operating as an independent woman that doesn't need anybody and doesn't need anything but herself and her career. That is not natural. That is not what we were created to be. That is not how we were created to live. That is not how we were created to move and to think. All right. And let me see what else, because I know I'm going through this pretty fast, but the power lies within you. There is no power in being independent to a fault. There is absolutely no power in being independent to a fault. Even when I was like this strong, stoic woman, I had so much on me. It was weighing me down. It was literally choking the life out of me. I was so miserable and I was so unhappy. And I remember when I surrendered to that, you know what I'm saying? When I submitted to that belief and I was able to open up and be vulnerable, and I had to learn how to practice asking for help and saying, no, it's too much. The load's too heavy. I'm tired, or I need a moment, And at first, like I said, it was extremely uncomfortable because I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm saying that. Are people going to think that I'm weak? Are people going to think that something's wrong with me? No, guess what? When I started asking for help, people were like, I'm like flipping my hair. People were like, it's about time. We were wondering when. Welcome. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to the real world. We were wondering when you were going to ask for help. We were wondering, like they were almost like waiting for my breakdown, because they were probably looking at me like, how is she doing it? I wasn't. It's like I couldn't even breathe. The moment I was just like, I remember one time, like I fell to my knees and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I cannot go through life like this. I cannot do this anymore. And when I verbally said it out loud, I think I was the only, matter of fact, I was on the treadmill and I was listening to, I don't even know what I was listening to. And it hit me like a ton of bricks and I was just crying and I got off. And as soon as I admitted it, and I was like, it's too much. And like, I'm getting emotional now thinking about it, because I will never forget that moment. It's like a weight was lifted off of me. And I was like, I can finally breathe. I didn't even know what it was like to take a deep breath. I had just been, I was so hard and rigid, like I said, and I could never take a deep breath. My chest was so tight. It was like living in, anxiety like every day. So, like I said, there's no power in being alone. There is no power in only needing yourself. And there is no power in going against nature. We were created to be women. We were not created to be men. Culture, society, and the sisterhood are lying to you. They're lying to you. And I know you may not like my messaging. You may not like the way that I speak all the time, but I am only trying to help you and to, and to really still help myself. I still have to hear it sometimes, but I'm like, I would not be doing you all any justice, any like service or any justice or making an impact or being a good coach or whatever if I went through all of this and I kept it to myself. Okay. So, like I said, culture, society, and the sisterhood are lying to you. We were not created to be alone. We were not created to go through life alone. We were not created to survive independent of each other. All right. So, we are stronger together. Be a woman. Love it, embrace it. It is powerful, it is magical, it is everything, it is natural. Tap into that, and now you can fully thrive in all areas of your life. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, comment, share, all of that good stuff. And until next time, same team.